Are we doing a test one?
Oh, we tested before.
We tested before. We've done a hair check and a visual check.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
But
Hello and welcome to this week's episode. Today's focus is around how your intranet and your internal comms can really enable your HR departments, your processes. It's a massive thing, and I think from all the conversations that we have on recording this, this is typically one of the top two that we talk about. That digital transformation, that enabling your HR departments, because it goes across the whole business. My question that I'm going to repeat at the end is, this gets a bit of a joke, a bit of a laugh when we talk about it, because how long ago was it that there was a process in HR in your business where you had to fill out a piece of paper or you had to read a folder and sign the back? Because I definitely remember doing that.
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago. and it does get a chuckle in businesses when we start to talk about digitising HR processes. So Craig, where do we start?
Oh, God, I don't know. So what we'll do in this episode is we'll throw up the screen. We're just going to naturally just chat about this one, but we'll throw up the screen, and I want to show everybody a typical HR hub that we would embed into an intranet, and it's to complement think about all of the things in HR that HR staff do that is wasting a lot of their time, and take all that stuff away. And we want HR to use their skills as HR professionals and put that into all of the good stuff with, how do we increase well-being? How do we increase engagement in organizations, and take away more of that mundane stuff around, people asking, how do I submit my expenses and things like that. So we'll throw up on the screen and just walk you through a typical HR hub, what that looks like, and start to get a feel about how that might work in your business, and start to give some time back to some of the HR.
Yeah, I think from, as you were saying that, it just reminds me of that whole lens of, are you more operationally focused, stuck in the weeds, or are you more strategically focused of getting out of those processes that are just taking time and that effectiveness?
Yeah, and there's some really tangible things. So, when you're looking at the value of these and what they can do, and you're looking at, you've probably got a full-time employee today offering HR support within a business very manually, and it's taken up 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, doing all of those things. And that they're probably sat there as HR professional, probably thinking, I'm a bit fed up of doing this. I'm answering the same questions all day, every day. In today's world, especially with AI coming through, this shouldn't happen. Yeah. There should be much better capability within organizations to automate and deal with a lot of this stuff. So let's throw up let's throw the hub up. Let's walk through, and we'll fire some questions away. Okay, so we've got the atypical HR hub up on the screen, and we'll walk through this from top to bottom. And as we're going through this, just think about, we did this with the homepage. Think about the different pillars on this particular page, and how this might help your business, and throw it all in the comments. We'd love to hear from you about things you didn't realize you could do, or how you might be inspired about how this might help. So
I was just about to jump in there and say that there's an opportunity there to say this is directly linked to what's a good homepage look like. And when we look at accessibility, it is one click away, isn't it? So one click away from that initial homepage, which is the ultimate hub. Yeah,
we'll do that appear at the top. But yeah, you're right. So when you're thinking about employee experiences in the digital ecosystem using the Microsoft technology, people might be coming in by the homepage, and there'll be a clear button for this where it's promoted there, where they can get to the HR hub. And HR have this home, and it becomes common knowledge. And so let's go through it. So this is a HR hub, we call it, but you can call it anything you like, HR HQ, or give it a brand in itself. And the things that are on here is we try and focus on those things to take away that manual overhead from HR staff, that it just shouldn't be over an email.
Yeah.
So think of the problems that you've got today. Is I imagine a lot of businesses, there's employees emailing. First of all, they find out who's in HR. That can be tricky. They don't know who to go to for a start. But they might find a contact, and then that person becomes HR public enemy number one. And that's they get all the emails.
Yeah.
They become the HR support for them. They're the ones that then get the burden to have to triage what they're asking for and get back to them.
And remember, we're going down the zero email policy. That's
zero email.
That's another, not another email. That's another video.
Yeah, another session, zero internal email. Okay, so on this, you've got various different things on here. So,
can I just can you go through that persona? I think that's going to be really quite useful for the audience to know about those 3 personas, about somebody landing here.
Yeah, so when I've done these things in the past, you can do a lot of interviewing employees and finding out the individual personas. You know, marketing people operate differently from salespeople, from finance people, from IT people. Everyone is different in their needs and how they go about their day-to-day work. But I always like to think of 3 key buckets of personas. One is the person that knows exactly what they're looking for. The other is the person that kind of knows what they're looking for, and the other is the person that has no idea what they're looking for. And when you think of those personas and you think about your intranets and your design and how people are navigating through it, when you've got them in mind, you think, okay, someone that knows exactly what they're looking for, they might use search. They might know the policy document that they want to get to. And they
very
want to find it
unlikely.
very unlikely. Yeah, really, very, very unlikely. But you never know. You might get some really
unless they're in HR.
Yeah. Well, they could be one.
Exactly.
They can be a person. HR staff are, again, people that can utilise the hub. So it might be someone needs to find that policy document because they need to update it or whatever. You kind of know what you're looking for. This is where we like to look at like intuitive guidance. So this is where you see the kind of the how do I's. It's kind of looking at what the output is. I want to find your tax form. How do I? And people might come in here and be intuitively guided a little bit better than just finding that tax form in a bunch of resources.
Yeah.
So you try and put on here just some good user experience design to try and get people to navigate to where they need to be. And then there's
sorry for jumping in again.
Yeah,
this is where it gets me excited around what we do as a business, because if there are certain how do I buttons that are not being clicked, we get rid of them. Yeah. And then we actually ask the business again, what are your typical, we ask the HR people in the business, what are you being asked all the time? And guess what?
Exactly.
They'll go back on, they'll go in there.
Exactly.
So it's our ability to adapt feedback loops and actually give the people in the business what they need.
Yeah, 100%. So at the back of all of the SharePoint is the analytics, and we can see what people are clicking on most and what isn't working, and you can adapt your site to it. So we've got a few big things. You know, we've got this demo here, access to your learning center, often a big key one with HR. You might already have an internal LMS that you're using. You might be using Microsoft Viva Learning, which is something we'll do a separate podcast on. But it doesn't matter what it is. You will no doubt in HR have an area that you need to promote various learning materials. So let people know where that is. One-click access to get to where your learning environment may be. Another one might be these things like polls. You know, HR like to track engagement within the company, send out various polls and surveys. And again, think of this as from a problem point of view. If you've not got a site to do this and enable it, how are you doing it? You're probably sending an email.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's that email, this dreaded email word again.
Yeah. So this sort of helped promote that stuff where you might be able to get a little bit more engagement on the engagement survey, ironically.
Ironic.
And yes, then we've got our how do I. So, how do I find my tax forms, find a performance review form, take a leave of absence. You've got your top FAQs, basically. But again, it's this very simple but effective thing. Imagine if you don't have this. It's all on email. I imagine you've got HR staff on a daily basis. If you've got a couple thousand people in your organisation, you've got some poor HR person or persons with an inbox full of people going, how do I take leave? How do I find the job vacancies? And things like that. So you've got HR news. Again, there's none appearing here, but it would if we were to put some in. HR needs to have a voice. HR typically team up with internal comms a lot of the time, and they need to make sure they are delivering really well connected, engaging communications around the organisation. And there's lots of key messages that HR want to deliver, which I'm sure you can all write down, top 10 things that probably get emailed 2 of them a day. Bring it out, bring HR's voice into the HR hub, still automate it to email where it needs to be, but you'll have a much stronger voice and a stronger presence of HR if you manage your news within this HR hub.
And that's where the link to the main intranet homepage is as well, isn't it? Because there'll be a 50-50 split between the news that is just HR news, that you're capturing people that are going through the HR hub process, and there'll also be a wider organisation need to know the HR news. So there'll be a link. Exactly. It appears here and it'll appear on the main page.
Yeah. So when you're looking at, take a look at the homepage. We'll do it again. Episode that we did. You can configure your news to all wrap up into like the homepage, and you might have multiple hubs. You might have a HR hub, a sales hub, a marketing hub, and same thing applies. You can build in these automated connectors so that relevant and important stuff feeds through into other more advertised areas like the homepage.
Yeah.
So going down here, things like, how do I get compensation, benefits? Where's the job vacancies? There's always like a top 3 or 5 things within HR that people want most. And again, the analytics will lead you into what those are. My experience is, and this is very common, is it's the benefits and job vacancies. Like for some reason, don't know why, people are always looking for the benefits and job vacancies. But
if anybody from HR, there should be a HR audience watching this. Can you pop in the comments what you think would be in those areas?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so from a design point of view, you want to bring that visible thing, put your top stuff at the top, make it stand out a bit more on what you want to drive people to. We would typically do a little discovery session with a HR and figure that out. All businesses are going to be different, but you get them on there, you make them very visible. You've got all your what's on stuff. So HR often coordinate the Christmas parties, charity events and things. Get it all on there, promote this stuff. It will just increase the engagement on it. You can put on there registration buttons. So I've recently done various things. We're doing like step challenges, where register for the step challenge. We're going to walk for charity. We're going to walk up the Himalayas and things like that. So it's really good to use the events. Quite a popular one for HR. You might have things like spotlights on here. It might be a staff spotlight. Employee. Do people do Employee of the Month?
I think yes. I think it is still a thing. Whether it's just called Employee of the Month, I'm not too sure.
Not sure, but you can build in various different things around. You might want to spotlight things, bring attention to things in the world of HR. Celebrations, work anniversaries, promotions, things like that. So there's a lot of things in businesses that happen but don't get shouted about enough. So me and my area of work, people are very quick to moan when things go wrong, and all that stuff.
You're negatively charged.
Yeah, negatively charged. But all the good stuff, it goes unnoticed. It goes under the radar. So, it's good to have these areas. It builds good culture as well in companies.
Well, we talk to companies about having weave that success thread through the business, and it leads very much to a culture. But the ability to see things on these platforms and your ability to share it, tag people, comment people into those news stories is really useful.
Yeah, definitely. So always good to have a bit on there, build a bit of, drive the culture forwards and shout about some of this stuff which just might go under the radar, but it's really good things. Yeah. You've got, resources, topics in here as well. Managing time off, access your policies and procedures, information about your culture, your values, retirees, new employees. We would sit down and figure out with the HR department what are the key things that you want to service on here to drive people to that knowledge. And then you've got things on here about, this is more like the support side. So the buzzword around this is self-serve. You want the employees to have good experiences and engage with the HR hub to self-serve, to go and find this various information and get support, feel connected to the business. Yeah. So you can ask questions. So we're using Viva Engage as a technology.
Good job, me and you've been asking questions, isn't it?
Lots of questions. And you can see the answers. So again, think of that persona. I kind of know what I'm looking for. You might have a little bit of a light bulb moment that, oh right, okay, yeah, it's that. And you can click on that. That was new.
Yeah.
And you can see what the answer was to that, or you can ask a new question.
And also, we mentioned a lot of engagement on this episode so far. As you will be able to see, or if you're just listening to this, it's very much got a social media element to it, hasn't it? Regards to our habits and our society now are expecting this standard of standard of engagement, isn't it? It looks like, and it's familiar.
That's it. So what did you say last time? Social media-fy.
Social media-fy. I think
we'll have to look if that's a word. But I like it. But you're right.
That's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's make this feel like people would do outside of work with the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks, the LinkedIn. So in the world of HR, great to have that stuff, and it definitely gets good engagement. It takes a lot away from the burden of staff answering this thing. But you would also get those maybe more private questions in HR as well. And you can basically set up an area to, ask directly to somebody for anything more privately related. But the important thing is you give people choice as well. It's not just email us for everything and anything. You start to build in a little bit more of an experience on what people can.
Yeah, you mentioned that self-serve, didn't you? That ability to feel like you've got that control as well. I think that's quite a human innate thing, that you like to manage your own journey through the process. Yeah, but have the ability to speak to somebody who's a relevant person when
that's
you
right.
need to.
Yeah.
So onboarding.
Yeah. So one of the key things is onboarding. So within your HR hub, there'll be a key sort of drive towards onboarding, and I always look at onboarding through a lens of employee experience. Yeah. And do you know what? I might throw up a diagram that I have. No, we'll talk about that in another episode. But onboard employee experience to me starts before someone's even employed. Ironically. So when you're looking to start an employee experience to go, how is this? How do I feel about this company? Arguably, that could start while someone is applying for the job. So
100%.
How did they get the application? Was it through LinkedIn? How will you operate on LinkedIn? People start to have a psychological feel for, this company is great. I got this in in a really cool way? Did I get recruiters like annoying me every 5 minutes of my day? Or, you know, how was my experience actually applying and coming in and being interviewed and getting the job? And so you're already having touch points there through a lens of experience of an employee within the business. Yeah. And when you come through that door on day one, I like to think of this as imagine if you don't have this. So imagine if you don't have any onboarding area. What are they doing?
Yeah.
How scared
they're getting those folders out to read and sign
the folder, that's it. Sign here. Here's the fire thing. Go and assemble over there and things. And so in the world today, we can just do much better than that. Yeah. You can build a good onboarding experience. These map right the way down to value of increasing retention. Yeah. You know, I've seen people leave organisations in week one.
Yeah, you're also going to be attracting new talent and the best talent because you're straight away looking like you're innovating, future focused. I'm talking a lot to people at the minute about what does the next generation of the workforce look like. And this is exactly what they're looking for and expecting. Yeah,
100%. So you've got things on here like, you know, get set up for success. So on day one, say I'm coming in as a new employee, I immediately feel supported and connected by the organisation. I can see how to get my workplace set up. I can see that we're offering learning development straight away. Things, you know, the top 5 things is how you put your expenses in. Go and have a read of that. Don't go and bombard HR with emails. So there's all these things, and what we've done here is we've built a Microsoft Power App, which is a very personalised view of what your onboarding activity may be. And you can see your progress through all of your onboarding tasks, and then you can work through them at your own pace. So you're almost being guided digitally through your onboarding experience. So, you know, complete direct debit deposit form. You can get started on that. You might go ahead and now read a policy around that, and then you can come and go, yeah, read that, done it, mark that as completed, and you can see my progress is going up.
And can I just check in here that obviously we're showing people this on a laptop. This is just as, if not better, on your phone.
Yes.
It's a Power App that will be specific for the company.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to check that.
Yeah, all mobile
that's what they're
friendly.
Expecting to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tablets, phones.
That's it. You can download Microsoft Power Apps onto people's phones, and you can say your onboarding app is just with you on your phone all the time. Again, it's leading into that, doing what people do more outside of work.
Yeah.
But simple, effective onboarding tasks, very personalised. I can see my personal progress, so it does feel very unique to me. I'm not just thrown into the corporate world of go and do all this stuff. I can track my own way through it. You know, these are really, really great things for onboarding success. And onboarding can have news as well. So the demo here is saying, meet new members. Quite often there's a lot of onboarders all at the same time.
Yeah.
You can build up a little bit of a new starters community, and people can buddy. I'm not alone. So yeah, I think that's quite nice to show that. Hopefully that you're all looking at that and thinking, hopefully, wow. But hopefully you can see how much that might be able to help organisations.
Okay, so hopefully you can see and hear a lot of good things there that you can either resonate with, that you've previously gone through, or some of the pain points that you're currently having in the HR world. It's very much HR focused today, but the new way of looking at the opportunities of the next generation of the workforce, leveling up what you already have, is so exciting for us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And again, my question I started with, how long ago were you writing pens and paper, signing backs of forms, and all that process of old-fashioned onboarding? Unfortunately, we are still having conversations with companies that, like, in the last 12 months, they were still on pen and paper. So love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you look at some of our other videos, and we'd love to know your feedback. See you in the next episode.